Here's something I hear all the time.
AI tools are for developers, for technical teams, not for someone like me.
If you are a project manager, I want you to really think about that for a second because it's costing you hours every single week. You are the one writing the RFP at 9 a.m. You are the one rebuilding the same quarterly budget slide from scratch every quarter. You are the one turning a messy hour-long meeting into a clean action list your stakeholders will actually read. And you are the one who has to figure out again whether your team even has the bandwidth to take on the next project. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 6 real scenarios, the kind you probably deal with this exact week, and show you exactly how Claude AI can take a big chunk of that work off your plate, and more importantly, how to set some of it once so that it keeps working for you automatically every time you need it again. No coding, no technical setup, just real scenarios, real prompts you can copy, and a workflow you can actually use starting today. Let's get into it. Before we get into the scenarios, I want to introduce 2 features you'll see me use throughout this video because they are really the difference between using AI once and AI actually becoming part of your workflow. Projects give Claude context about a specific projects you are running. You can add files, a brief, past documents, even a glossary of your company's internal terms, and even conversations you have inside the project remembers all of it. Think of it as a dedicated folder that Claude actually reads and understands, so you are not re-explaining your project every time you open a new chat. Skills work differently. A skill teaches Claude how you like things done, and it applies automatically across any conversation in any project going forward. You set it up once, describe your format, your tone, maybe attach an example, and from that point on, it just works. No re-explaining, no re-uploading, no starting from scratch. Here's the simplest way to remember the difference. Projects hold your information, skills hold your process. So let's jump in. The pain here is one every PM knows. A client or internal stakeholder asks for a proposal by end of day. You are staring at a blank document, digging through old proposals for language you like, trying to remember the exact structure your company uses. Step 1. The first draft. You give Claude the context and ask for a structured draft. I am a project manager at my company. I need to draft a proposal for a client who wants to implement a new CRM system over 4 months with a budget around this for executive summary, scope of work, timeline, deliverables, and pricing. Within seconds, you have got a full first draft, properly structured, professionally worded. You are not starting from a blank page anymore. You are editing and adjusting numbers. Step 2. The part most people skip. If you write proposals regularly, don't retype this whole prompt every single time. Turn it into a skill. Here's what that looks like. You create a skill, name it something like RFP writer, and inside it you describe your company's exact proposal structure, tone, and this is the powerful part. Attach 1 or 2 of your best past proposals as reference examples. From that point forward, you just say, in any brand new chat, draft an RFP for this new client, this scope, this budget, and Claude automatically writes it in your company's format. No re-explaining the structure, no re-uploading old proposals. This directly answers something a lot of PMs ask me. Can you set this up once and keep using it for every new RFP going forward? Of course, yes. That's exactly what a skill is built for. One more thing worth trying. Once you have a draft, ask a follow-up like, make the pricing section clearer for a non-technical client, or shorten this to 1 page. Claude will revise in place, so you are never starting the whole document over just to fix one section. Next pain, a messy Excel export. Actuals versus planned spend across 10 line items, and leadership wants a summary by tomorrow morning. Instead of building pivot tables by hand, upload the spreadsheet directly into the chat and ask, here's our Q2 budget spreadsheet. Compare planned versus actual spend by category, flag anything more than 10% over budget, and summarize the key risks in plain language I can share with leadership. Claude reads the file, does the math, and gives you a clean breakdown, which categorizes overran by how much and what it means for the rest of the quarter. Here's a nice bonus. If you ask for a visual, Claude can generate an actual interactive chart right there in the chat, a bar or a line chart you can screenshot straight into your slide deck. You're not exporting anything into Excel or PowerPoint to build this yourself. A useful follow-up. Ask which of these overruns are likely to recur next quarter and which look like one-time costs. Claude will read the categories again and reason about which ones are probably structural versus a one-off. Genuinely useful when you're prepping for the leadership conversation about what to fix versus what to just note. This whole task normally eats an hour of pivot tables and formatting. Claude gets you a useful first pass in under a minute. The next pain. You just came out of a 1 hour stakeholder call. You have got scattered notes or a transcript if you have recorded it, and you need a clean list of decisions and owners before people forgot what was agreed. Paste your raw notes in and ask, here are my raw notes from today's project review call. Summarize the key decisions made, list all action items with owners if mentioned, and flag anything that sounds like an open risk or blocker. 20 minutes of rereading your own handwritten becomes a clean, shareable summary in seconds. One you can paste straight into an email or your project tracker. Pro tip. If this is a format you use every week, this is another great candidate for a skill. One that always outputs a table with owner, task and due date. Format it exactly how your team likes it, so you never have to specifically format it again. The next pain. Every week or every sprint, you are building the same status update, what shipped, what's at risk, what's next, and turning it into slides. Give Claude your raw project status, even in messy bullet form, and ask, turn these rough notes into a weekly status update with 3 sections. Completed this week, in progress, and risks and blockers. Keep it concise. This goes to senior leadership. If you ask, Claude can also lay this out as a clean visual, a simple dashboard slide tracker you can view and screenshot, not just plain text. On the free plan, you'll still get the fully polished text version. Just copy it straight into your existing slide template and you're done in 2 minutes instead of 20. The next pain. You'll need to tell a client the timeline is slipping, and you need to say it in a way that doesn't sound like an excuse, but also doesn't sound like you're hiding something. This is exactly the kind of message where tone matters more than content, and it's genuinely hard to get right when you're writing it under pressure. Try this. Write an email to a client explaining that the project timeline is delayed by 2 weeks due to vendor issue. Be transparent, professional, and solution focused. Include what we are doing to fix it. You'll usually get 2 or 3 phrasing you'd never have thought of yourself, and you can immediately ask for a more formal or a more direct version if the first draft isn't quite your voice. That back and forth done in under a minute is often the difference between a small client conversation that goes smoothly and one that doesn't. The next pain. A new project lands on your desk, and leadership wants to know today whether your team can actually take it on without blowing up your current commitments. Paste it in a rough list of your team members and their current workload and ask, here's my team's current workload for the next 4 weeks. A new project needs 2 developers and 1 designer for 3 weeks starting next Monday. Tell me who has capacity, who is already over allocated, and what trade-offs I'd need to make. Claude will read through the workload, flag who is already stretched thin, and give you a realistic answer who can bring into the resourcing conversation instead of eyeballing a spreadsheet and guessing. Let's make this practical. Here's exactly how to set up the RFP skill from scenario 1. Step 1. Go to the settings and make sure code execution is turned on. Skills need this enabled, and it's a free toggle, not a paid feature. Step 2. Create a new skill and give it a clear name like RFP writer. Step 3. In plain English, describe your proposal structure and tone. You don't need to code anything, just write it the way you'd explain it to a new hiree. Step 4. Save it. From now on, just ask Claude for a RFP in any conversation and it will automatically apply everything you just set up. Do this once or maybe 10 minutes and you'll never write a RFP prompt from scratch again. The same approach works for meeting notes, status reports, or any document you procure on repeat. That's 6 real ways a project manager can use Claude this week: proposals, budgets, meeting notes, status reports, risk communication, and resourcing. And more importantly, how to set some of these up so it keeps working for you automatically with skills and projects. You don't need to be technical, you just need 10 minutes to set this up once. If this was useful, comment down below. See you in the next one.